Hello, hello. This is Tubonge Kirinyaga, and we're back. It's the edition, and today, of course, I'm with my fellow citizens of Kirinyaga, these brilliant minds. It's the edition inakuja wakati we have been mourning our former Senator Honorable Karaba, and I think it's only right that kila mtu aseme kitu kidogo. What we've picked, we had the burial I think a day ago, so tuanze na Wakeo. Salimia watu, tell us how your week has been and make a comment.
Hello, Kirinyaga. It's always a pleasure to meet here on this platform and discuss the matters that are affecting us and talk about what has been happening. So, Martin, as you've asked about the burial that was there, Honorable Karaba, kitu ya kwanza, I was surprised to see that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua attended that burial, because venye tulienda maombolezi on Sunday, he had already apologized, or he had already requested that people understand that he won't be attending the burial. Akasema atakuwa na Kalonzo Ukambani. So kwangu ilikuwa surprise na nilikuwa nashindwa nini ndio imemfanya change kutoka kusema hatakuwa tukusema atakuwa, up until nikaona Mugathe hapo, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. Na mmekuwa mkiona vile imekuwa kwa mitandao, watu wamekuwa wakisema lazima State House chai inaonja mwarobaine, because one of the things yenye imekuwa ikijidrag sana in the political dynamics was for us to see an allusion, because I think this was it alluded to the possibility of Uhuru gukora manyitani tena Rigathi Gachagua. Yani andu maratuika excited ni undu wakona tu ate mekaranitie makibebaniria kana kuona andu ate magiciki njara, you know, andu magamituma ibane taka undu wekika wakuona ni ate Uhuru na Rigathi Gachagua ni manyitanire undu wekika ni uba kwa ndengiuga kwina undu rekikire ona korona urigirwe Uhuru akibuthira ciugo ta, you know, these are politicians na ni moyo ni ndu ikioyaga andu na ni ndu gikenagia andu nikio rigwo Uhuru akiuga undu tariri ati hata mimi nimekaa tu nasikiza ground akamenya ugogwe, it's going to create euphoria and excitement among the people. Are you saying
it was just a show?
It was just a show. Honestly speaking, it was neither here nor there. It was a situation that they used politically. They exploited. They go kamamara kamire mathiko aso for political mileage. They created mugagasa, they created excitement, but sidhani kuna anything that was really put down on paper ati akuga atiriwe yes netuonete ta Jeremia Kionie kwebindira kinyira maroka maranyitana na Uhuru. It's a step in the right direction. No nginya riria tuguka tuone matwira okone coalition iroka kuthondekwa tondu njiguite andu mage speculate wa coalition coalition maybe between DCP and Jubilee and maybe PLP. Coalition ile ukaitwike like the official outfit towards 2027. But hiyo mimi naona, honestly, I don't think there's anything on paper that really happened kwa hiyo mazishi, in my opinion.
Joshua, what do you think? What did you pick from there? Kwanza salimia watu, waambie umekuwa happy for 2 weeks. We didn't have an edition last weekend.
Yeah, so habari wakazi wote wa Kirinyaga. No, last week tulikuja lakini tukanyeshewa, kwa hivyo hatukuweza kufanya show. So our apologies. It's been a very busy week. And first of all, allow me to give my condolences to the family of our former Senator Mwalimu Daniel Karaba. Karaba will be remembered as a very astute educationist and also as a towering politician. He is one of those leaders in Kirinyaga ambao hatukusikia wakiwa when they were in office, hatukusikia wakiwa na kashfa yote. Maybe because the office of the senator doesn't have any kitty, but that said and done, he will be remembered as a very profound senator. Na kila mahali you walk around Kirinyaga, ukiongea na the who is who in Kirinyaga, wengi wao utasikia kuambia kwamba Karaba was their teacher ama wanamjua, so may he rest in peace. So back to the politics of the senator's burial, Uhuru Kenyatta. I beg to differ with my sister here. I don't think it was just mere rhetoric by the fourth president of Kenya. And you've already said that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua had already offered his apologies that for his absence. So what really made him attend the burial? I think we can only speculate. And looking at the way things have been happening, we started off with Uhuru calling his soldiers to order. Kuna wakati aliwaambia kwamba hataki kusikia mtu yoyote wa Jubilee akimtusi Rigathi Gachagua. So that was the first sign. Then a few days or a few months later, we saw Kioni shaking hands with His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. And now here is Rigathi Gachagua having already offered apologies for his absence in the senator's burial, now showing up, and Uhuru is there. And Uhuru again, talking of kusikiza ground, things just don't happen. I think there's something that is being cooked, and we can only wait and see. So I think the coming days will be quite interesting, and like every other Kenyan, I think and I hope that something is cooking between those two leaders.
True. Merijo, do you think that there is any coincidence in politics that Mugathe was just around? Like, I remember he said that mimi hata sijaita watu hapa, najua watasema mlikuja juu yangu. I was nimekuja tu burial. What do you think? What did you pick from there? Salimia watu kwanza.
Hi Kirinyagans and Kenyans in large. I know tunawachiwa na watu wako Kirinyaga and even beyond. Diving in to your question, I think the coming of Uhuru in the burial was a personal decision that he made. The coming in of all other leaders was just diligent enough, because the former president cannot visit a region that you command and then you get busy. So I tend to believe that whatever the other leaders, Kina Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigiji, cutting off their visit in Ukabani and coming in to just usher in the former president was an act of decency. And I think that's what I expect. Neta mundu augite agusera gwakwa na nie ga decide ne gukaga event ya tubonge, so aende akajireceive kwangu. It doesn't show decency in any manner. So I think that is what caused it. And also there is nothing like coincidence. If there's somebody I am admiring currently, it's the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. He's decided to exit stage when people are still applauding, they are clapping. He is just talking in a position of a retiree. He doesn't want to go full throttle. He just wants to let you know that whatever you people are doing, I am backing it up. I am in support of it, though I am not going to be loud. So I am not expecting him to come back loud. I am not expecting him to be on the top of vehicles and a mic. I am not even expecting him to be steering Jubilee anymore in the front, from the front. Maybe he has decided to take a back seat, something that every other leader should emulate. It is good to know when to retire. And it is always good to know when to start grooming. So personally, I think what happened that day was just a grandfather telling the children, like, yeah, you're doing well. And I think we are headed somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, the other thing that hata tuacheza Uhuru hapo, we also had something happen yesterday. The deputy president was in Kirinyaga, and I can guess by the reactions mlijua wakati anaenda. Someone just told me that alipitwa na gari mbili hapa Kirinyaga University, akaambia huyo ni deputy president amepita. It's almost laughable, but alikuwa amekuja kufanya nini? Wakio, you're from Geshogo. Tell us.
Nenda igwa na nywe agaguka gwake gutirari na any impact kana gutirari na mururumo, tondu ni ndiraririkana Arĩa metagwo ma deputy president matuĩkaga nĩ maroka kũndũ.
Kina tanga.
Yani neta president yokire. You know? So there is a kwanja mũkarara. You know, gĩcogo gĩtũ taũni twingi. Ndirigua takara arasemaga ta mũndũ arokaga ndenda kuiguĩkana nĩoka. Ndio areciragia wona aiguĩkana nĩ aroka nĩ ndũ gĩgwĩkĩka. But what I admire most about his visit, if I can say that, is the fact that he's so conscious of the fact that he's not popular and of the fact that he's not even safe with the people, that nĩaramenya ona agiũka ni okay, safe, a play safe, okay, bithĩte tondũ ngĩcia bendeta Gachagua rĩrĩa ararĩ gũkũ, and coincidentally maybe it's a joke, nĩ tondũ Gachagua ararĩ gũkũ wiki like a week ago o gatauni kia area ĩyo tondũ Karumande na mũkarara nĩ njĩra ĩno ya kũthi Kĩmunye. Karumande ũkũingĩrĩra Kabũte, it's a town also towards the Mount Kenya forest. Everybody knew he's coming, you know, and everybody showed up because he's coming. You would like to think that a sitting president or a sitting vice president would command such crowds and such attention. It's a joke, really. Yeah.
Wacha nikuulize, I heard you comment something about the area MCA.
Yeah.
Honorable Isaac.
Yes.
Honorable Isaac nilimuona kwa bari ya Mwalimu Karaba, kamera ikipita akisema one term. Alikuja kwa DP. Was he there? Did he speak?
To the best of my knowledge, nasikia hakukuwa. To the best of my knowledge, of which Mukarara nĩ gwake, by the way. Mukarara ĩ Kabare ward. Rĩu tondũ nĩ ndĩrageria gwĩciria atĩrĩrĩ, no Gĩcimo arĩkũ. No na Gĩcimo mwene, sorry to say, he's not also commanding the level of attention that a sitting member of parliament is supposed to see. Actually, onge observe and arĩa monde marathi mĩcemanio ya andũ aya mareita matutama maingi mathia na agenda ya kubewa kĩrĩa marabewa. Nĩ ng'aragu matwaraga kũu kana okugetie gũkuoneria. Na maita maingi mauma bewa kĩrĩa marabewa. Mauma bauma kĩthi makiugaga ndũĩ one term. Niko kwa thirikari ĩno nĩ kinyete para kipindi cha tilala salama, ona ndio nguga nĩ kipindi kĩrĩkũ kĩu gĩkinyete point ĩrĩa nginya for their own safety as persons matengethi makianagĩrĩra ona protocol iria ciagĩrĩirwo nĩ gũkorwo ikĩrũmĩrĩrwo, because the president in itself has protocols. Nĩgetha mũnene oke bandũ, you send people of the presidential administration that to go and scout the area, their standards of safety that are supposed to be put in place. Kuna protocols iria ciagĩrĩirwo nĩ kũmũreceive. Angĩkorwo nginya sitting MCA ndaroka kũmũreceive we, ndĩngĩona Cibo ndarĩ kutiga ndĩngorĩrĩria kana Cibo arĩkũ.
Sasa umeanza kukua hater. Joshua ulijua Kindiki anakuja?
Well, sikujua, nilijua.
Ulijua lini?
No, nilijua. I was scrolling through Facebook. Nikaona ka video kame pop up Kithure Kindiki live there with I think 79 people following. So that's how I knew about it. Yes, and because I'm a patriot, I decided to watch. So I watched for about 7 to 9 minutes kidogo, and it was a low key event. It was like a rikwa mass. Ni kama ilikuwa maombolezi, and I think I really don't sympathize with the deputy president, because Waswahili husema cha mwenzako ikinyolewa chako nacho unatia maji. You know, when he came in 2024, there was all the pomp and glamour and the power. I remember he used to get extra security. There was extra hata the fleet, the convoy ilikuwa kubwa kuliko president. I think they had a point to prove. Akasahau kwamba when these people are done with you, they will also relegate you to the dustbin of oblivion, so nobody will care. That's why you've said kuna mtu alipita na gari mbili akaambiwa ni a deputy president. Yeah, and yes, it's true. It's true. Niliona kidogo, and like she said, I saw the area MP alikuwa hapo na yeye alikuwa anaongea na microphone kama anataka kujificha.
Nani area MP?
Yes,
Gachagua was there in the
alikuwa anaongea
akiwa Karaba, and then he was spotted somewhere very lonely at a corner contemplate. Someone was saying
jana aliongea, nilimwona kwa hiyo event ya deputy president, alikuwa anaongea kama amejificha na gari, and his speech was very short. And then I also saw the Mwea MP. Unajua ndiye akienda kwa event unasikia ndio ni kushout. By the way, you can never understand what she's saying. And then a 2 nominated MCA, so it was low key. And like she said, I think the deputy president knows very well that he's very unpopular. But again, going by the rumors that is going around in the country, that ni kama miti imeanza kuteleza, maybe That's the reason why there is his convoy and security has been scaled down. Hatujui sisi, we are only speculating, and sisi kama wananchi letu jicho tu. Yes.
Talking of the deputy president, sitauliza swali limeulizwa hapa na wakili ati our governor Her Excellency Madam Waiguru angekuwa better deputy president than Kindiki. Merijo, najua unataka nikuulize hii swali.
Mimi sitaki kuuliza swali ya Kindiki.
Do you think if it, si unakumbuka Waiguru alikuwa ameambiwa atakuwa deputy president and it's a whole story. Do you think she would have made a better deputy president? Angekuwa kwa hiyo oblivion sahi. What do you think?
Well, just to imagine Waiguru and the current president in the same office as president and deputy president said some goosebumps in every Kenyan's life, because that's quite a tragic combination. I don't think they got a heart for the mwananchi, and it's a dangerous combination, just to say the least. Maybe she would have made a better deputy president to complement the current president's agenda, because we all can read the agenda, and I think she would have offered support that the president might be needing currently. But for any Kenyan, Waiguru and Ruto would have made a very dangerous combination.
What agenda are we talking?
No, you really want me to go into some levels that are very... You want me to dive deep, and mimi ni mtu wa maji ya karai. Wacha kunilazimisha kwenda huko. But to be so sincere, if I am to judge by what the current president is doing and what he's popularly known for, Waiguru would have complemented him better. By now Kenya would be in its deathbed, or maybe tungekuwa tumemaliza hiyo mazishi, and maybe tungekuwa a province within Uganda. And yeah, so ingine pande ingine South Sudan, and some of us would be in Somalia, and that will be done. So if anybody, either in this panel or somewhere else, says that Waiguru would have made a better deputy president, anafaa kupigwa na mawe na Mkenya yeyote.
Well, I think she is right, depending on the agenda that she referring to. Agenda yenye unasema. Talking of Waiguru, I heard Waiguru. I heard our governor. I think it's not even the first time amekuwa Murang'a. Sijui kama ni Joni nyumbani ama ni wajua karibu kumaliza, so probably she's going back home. I know that some people here want to say that she is intending to vie for senator in Murang'a. I also think na sitaendelea na hiyo, but I heard her apologize to the people of Murang'a for, akasema in her own words that I am very sorry. Hakusema sorry, but alisema in so many words that she has no fights with Rigathi Gachagua. And then now my question comes in juu later I saw her amepigwa picha, amefanya 2 term na amepost Mathioya ni 2 term, Murang'a ni 2 term. What was the story about, wakili?
Kengwire uti mundu onomwe angiuga ndeno thuna President Gachagua nginya ndimwitire president, the deputy president of the people, na ni mundu arauga 2 term. Tondo representation ya His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua ibana ta representation ino ya niko kadi na ndo yana takame mahungu, you by the way majenzi bati na makimero muthenya kuga niko kadi ni kuga 1 term. You cannot separate those two phrases. Ati uge mimi niko 2 term na niko kadi kwa niko goroka by the way.
Tunachukua kadi tukatoe watu,
you know, nditaka mundu amwe maugaga mateko understand ura marauga na ngwiciria kwi mundu ugire iyo itagwa siku ya nyani kuteleza ati nginya ukinyita microphone iyo. You know this microphone and the camera inakanga kama kio. It reveals you for who you really are. You could be saying one thing and meaning another, but eventually, as long as you're in front of that gadget, the truth will always come out. Kwa riu ringi ni kwegeria arageragia kwendithania tondu niona ni ndikana ndika ni muyu ndi mundu urari very resistant kuingira kiama kia DCP. Ni ndo my own ideological reasons. I was very resistant. But the moment that I got in, I took a look and I came to understand what being a DCP member really meant and what this movement is about. Ngiona ina by the way, gukorwo ndite party ya movement ino ni gukorwo ndi mundu muhuyu na ni mundu taramenya uria areka na ni mundu taramenya kuria athiete. Niko gwa Waiguru bakwa ndore mundu muguruki, mundu muguruku, mundu muteumbao, mundu ataramenya ni ati arauga. Tondu nugithi kuga ndwe no thuna deputy. Unaona this thing it costed people's lives. Hakuna fine lines, hakuna in betweens. Hakuna kukaa kwa fence. It's either you want, hakuna in between. Riu arageria kwendithania na andu agetue bau gatagati. Ndina thina na Rigathi na ndina thina na Ruto. In fact mundu unde bau gatagati ati ni murata wa Ruto ni murata wa Gachagua. Uyo ako kwa Ruto. Acha nitakwanga ina ngoma.
So Mary Jo, do you think that Honorable Her Excellency Waiguru is seeing bad days in two-term or wherever she thinks she is?
Kwe hingo ndaiguĩte gĩkũyũ gĩkiuga atĩrĩrĩ, thoni cia arũme ikoragwo igoti, cia Waiguru politically ikoragwo na hau kĩandanda, ona itikoragwo hau igoti. Waiguru nĩ mũndũ ũmwe ũtaconokaga agĩka anything. No ngĩkona Waiguru akĩbehave ta ciso ananguka hivi anarudi hivi. We saw her in 2021. She was a brigadier wa BBI. She sang reggae to the end. And then she went to Dhiva. Akasema amesikiza ground na akaruka wheelbarrow na akasonga nayo. What Waiguru is doing is not new. If you watched Waiguru during 2022, she was very unpopular. And she has this character that I saw in Muranga yesterday. She knows how to carry the MCAs na bei hudhota ya shube. Ungiarorire the previous regime ya MCAs athiũrũrũkaga nayo in all her meetings. And you go watch those campaigns alifanya 2021, 2022. Athiaga nginya na MCAs akuma na gũkũ Mũkũre ũkamakora na gũkũ Dhiva. Ũkamakora wa Mumu. She used to go around with them. That is what I saw in Muranga yesterday. Sasa tu nilikuwa nimeshika simu trying to see who was available, who was not. And I was so surprised. Sitting MCAs, nominated MCAs accompanied her to Muranga for what? For what? She was in Mathioya. Nikiangalia just to free pata kama sitataja wengi, that is Gashoki Gitare, that's actually a sitting member of parliament. She has the speaker with her. Ndirona Gaho, naona Kevenga, naona Wakaembe. I can see them all. Naona Send here, Bosco, these are nominated. So for what? She has a way when she's very unpopular and she's feeling cold, she has a way of buying enough duvet around her ya kumkeep warm. That's what she's doing. I wouldn't be surprised that Waiguru is feeling so unpopular na already ameharibu jina hapa, and she's now trying to go to Muranga and trying to be, okay, she might not be able to pull the senator, but I think she's eyeing the seat of the same person she was accompanying yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised because Waiguru is one person who can really calculate. Right now, she knows she cannot get a single seat in this county, ya Kirinyaga. So I am almost speculating that she's just about to pull one. May I surprise you? She will sing one term like she has never had two fingers in her hands.
Unamenya, sorry Mati, nimechukua microphone. Okay. Kuna kaundo Merijo auga. Nimuradikana MCA ya kumiera marathire kwa Munyoro recently. Do you know they were so categorical to say that walienda huko na baraka ya Waiguru? And you're wondering, are these the John the Baptist to prepare the way for her as she makes her entry? And I don't think we can talk about Waiguru without talking about Wangirisi, because I think those two women, one is learning from the other. Tondo nake ni kuratueka, she's positioning herself taruwa nataka kibenga. I have intel, not intel, kendige kumeglamorize no kuratueka ati umweri wa July nego katutam nego kawantam.
Oh, kibenga.
So tunakapa tunaona these people who are political opportunistics wenye they wanataka kula kwote, but strategically wanatafuta ile siku yenye, you know, ndo nataka Waiguru yani mara thiko muthondekera njira nigetha gioka kuingira akore na John the Baptist na Wangui Wangirisi nake mundu araruta wira beto wira ni Uhuru ni Ruto thaizi kurara Ruto suni amubere wira na ni appointment, of which unajua appointment is in Kenya ni tokenism. Ni a reward because of your loyalty or whatever contribution you made to me as a leader. Ngakwethera bandu nigetha nguonie ni ngenete ni undu wogu. What you guys think? I don't know. What you guys think?
Joshua, Joshua try ebu demystify what we are saying. Kwanza niliona Honorable Sandy Wanjokeine. Si alikuwa one of those MCAs who visited Wamunyoro juzi. And then the same day with the same clothes evidentially alikuwa kuimba tuta mahali. Then yesterday alikuwa na Waiguru. What's happening?
Wengi wao walikataliwa na ground, wakaamua wacha wakakufia ile upande wanajulikana.
At least wakikula.
Yes. So now mambo ya Waiguru, I will take a different trajectory with my two sisters. Mimi Waiguru, I think sometimes people overrate her. Saa hii game imeisha. Waiguru cannot move away from the two-term brigade. Si mnajua huko DCI na integrity nasikiaga yeye ndiye ako na files nyingi. So there is no way Waiguru can make a mistake ati aseme ameachana na Ruto. And she knows that Ruto is very vindictive. Akijaribu tu kusema one time kabla hajafika hapa kesho kutakuwa kumejaa masubaru. So she cannot. But again, considering that she is aware that she's exiting from the political scene, and the other side is a bit cold, especially if you've presided over a very kleptocratic regime right from the times of NYS. Bado hatujasahau ile 769 million. Kirinyaga nayo she's run it in a very mafia way, whereby she cannot account for the 50 billion that she's received over the past 8 years, and she knows that the next government will want to account. They'll demand for accountability for the monies that have been expended in those years. So akiangalia hivi, thinking that akijiangalia aone kwamba after 2027 atakuwa kwa baridi in the event that the opposition takes over the government, watamkalia if by 2027 she'll be in the two-term brigade. Pia she cannot take that risk ya kusema one term sahi, kwa sababu I'm telling you Kasongo will land. Ndio sababu sasa, the way my sister Mary Jo has said, she's now become a very professional fence sitter. Ako hapo, she's oscillating between two term and one term, and she'll neither go into any of the camps as in full throttle. She will not.
She won't say one term at any given time.
Waiguru is likely to stick to two term than the one term brigade, because she knows who she's dealing with. And Ruto Sahi being a very desperate first term president, you cannot just hang on to my coat and wait for the last minute and dump me. I will also crush you. So I can, my crystal ball tells me that Waiguru will eventually be one of the two-term parrots in Mount Kenya region. Yes.
Hadi mwisho. Mirijo, what do you think?
No, she will not. Waiguru will not. Okay, given her relationship with the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, if I were to compare her relationship with the former president Uhuru Kenyatta and her relationship with the current president, if she was able to abandon Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta's camp comfortably and she walked her way to the wheelbarrow without blinking. I can tell you for free, when that time comes, she's going to walk away that she has never seen Ruto.
Let me say something. Mary Jo, allow me. What you're saying is true, and what gave her the strength to walk away from Uhuru's side is because she also knew that Uhuru is a very accommodating guy.
I know.
You remember most of the guys who actually left Uhuru for Ruto in 2022 and 2021, they still managed to keep their jobs.
There were no consequences.
There were no consequences. Now, come Ruto, everybody who has tried to go against Ruto, and especially those who benefited from his presidency, have all been shown the door. So I think she knows that hapa Ruto nae,
She knows.
Eh?
She knows.
Is she
But she
willing to
also
take that
knows
risk?
that 2-term will not be 2-term. So she will have to be in the side of 1-term because it will be taking the government. And Waiguru cannot afford to be in the opposition. She has just gone too deep that she really needs somebody to keep her afloat.
Well, it's a wait
She
and
cannot.
see.
It's a wait and see, and I think that's the same reason why people are speculating that she's going to go for a senator position, because vile tu ulisema, ni Joshua amesema, like the stakes, especially when it comes to her, even the prosecutorial risk iko juu sana. So for that particular reason, she cannot afford to be out in the cold. So tunataka kuona which one is going to, kwa sababu kwa hiyo story ya 2-term being a reality, there are these people who are saying Ruto lazima atarudi, Kenyatta kuwa nayo ni ma-MP. Na kuna mwingine anasema Ruto anaenda. What are the consequences of Ruto anaenda? We are in a very delicate place as a nation. And that's why I think it's very important for us to see more of what we saw in the Karaba burial for the sake of this nation. Raila used to say, and may his soul continue resting in peace, he used to say that we are at a point where this nation is bigger than any one personal individual interests. So for the sake of where this nation is headed, Jumi sioni kama Ruto ni ule president mwenye itaannouncewa ameshindwa, unless the whole majority is against him. Na unajua tu the power of money. Hakuna vile utasikia ati the entire nation is against him. Kuna tu wale watu wenye wataezanga, watu wenye wanajua kama Waiguru, wenye wanajua huu mtu asipoingia kimeumana. And I think that is why Waiguru is insisting on interfering with the politics even of Kirinyaga, even after he's completed his 2 terms, because anataka pia ndani hiyo serikali kukuwe na watu wenye wataangalia interest zake. Na ningekuwa yeye, mimi ningeenda kiti kama MP kuliko kwenda kiti kama governor yenye iko na term limit. From the very beginning, tiganika atari asorete kana gwiciria mbere ndingere ninioe ndingiathia kiti gitena term limit.
But she is a manivorous.
No.
Herbivorous eats herbs. Manivorous eats money.
Anataka mahali kuna pesa mingi. Hiyo MP hawezi shiba.
Hataki MP huko hakuna pesa. Wacha aende hiyo, naambiwa anataka kwenda ya Murang'a, as long as she's not in anyway. I think that is what has been trending in Kirinyaga and beyond the past 1 week. And now I want us to come back closer to home. Last time we had begun to speak about the constituency level politics in Kirinyaga, and I think it began to take shape wakati His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has been touring Kirinyaga whole weekend. The past 1 week kumekuwa a buzz, and we saw, sijui tuanze na constituency gani. Alianza Murindoko. We have Mwea. I think Mwea is the most hotbed ya politics in Kirinyaga. That is Mwea. What is happening with politics of Mwea, Joshua? Who is top? Who is doing what? What are we expecting to see in Mwea?
Well, you know, Mwea is our biggest constituency.
That is true.
With about
8 wards.
Yes. How many voters? About 130,000? Yes, thereabout. And it's also one constituency that has attracted very energetic candidates. And they seem to really have what it takes to be members of parliament. And if you will allow me just to mention the ones who've come out to the public openly to sell their bids, and we've seen them. They are very visible, and especially during the the political tours and rallies that have been held in Kirinyaga, in both camps, that is the government side and the one-term side. So on the government side, we have, I think we only have one candidate, that is the incumbent Mary Maingi. Yes, and I've not had anybody else showing interest in vying under the UDA on a UDA ticket in Moya.
I think we have one.
Which one is that?
Sijui anaitwa Kevin ama anaitwa nani.
The fact that we don't even know his name means that he's not he's not a serious candidate. So on the government side we have Mary Maingi, but on the one-term camp, which seems to be really the Colosseum of political wars in Kirinyaga, we have I'll mention them, and not in any order. We have the former MP, who is Kavinga Wadhayo, and I see he has traction. I think just to be fair enough, I've seen that going by what I hear from people as I move around Kirinyaga, and also what I experience and witness on social media, he has good traction. And I think what gives him that advantage is the fact that he exited on a high note. Remember that most of the Jubilee MPs who lost in the last election were not defeated because of performance, but yeah, it was all about the UDA euphoria in Mount Kenya. So he left on a very high note. His performance, though debatable, and relatively was good. And I think he's also a man who is liked by many. You are yet to meet people who talk ill about Kavinga as a person. If you remove the little petty politics around sijui Kavinga ametoka Murang'a, which is neither here nor there, because I don't think people really buy that nonsense. I think he stands on a very good ground. So we have Kavinga Wadhayo. Then we have a lady called Wangeshi Waroi. Okay, young, very energetic. You have listened to her on TV and on political rallies, and she's quite energetic. She comes out as a very informed person. From what I gather, I think she's a CPA graduate with a very impressive resume. And I've also met people who claim to be her close friends and former schoolmates, and everybody I've met, they keep on telling me that she's a go-getter, and I tend to agree to some extent, because going by what she's achieved in the very short time that she's been in politics, then you cannot wish her away. So Wangeshi is a person of interest. I think all eyes on her. I think she is likely to give Kavinga and the incumbent a run for their money. So we have Wangeshi Waroi, and we also have another guy. I'll mention three because those are, I think, the most three visible. Yeah, the most visible and the most popular, going by what we know today. We have Dr. Ken. He's a youthful guy. I think he's the youngest of them all. He's very cool. I've listened to him talk on meetings.
What do you mean by cool?
He looks like a guy who resonates very well with the people.
Okay.
He's not abrasive. I see people talking about him, those who know him, and they say that he's approachable. So Moya presents us with a cocktail of very competent
and diverse.
Yes, competent leaders or aspirants with very good CVs. Outside of the incumbent, I think the aspirants on the opposition side or the DCP side, because I think all of them are on DCP, Moya is in a very good place, and I think if they're able to exercise their constitutional right in electing a good leader, then they have a very rich pot from which to pick their leaders from.
Wakili, what do you see in Moya? What are you looking forward to? Kwanza ni nani unaangalia sana?
Of course, for obvious reasons, I'm looking at Wangeshi Waroi.
Okay.
Especially because of what she's been able to bring to the table within a very short time, because she's a young entrant. She's been very aggressive and equal to the task, and her words always hold water. And as Joshua said, her resume is impressive because, you know, with Mwea, it's all about economics. Like when it comes to, I've heard that it's one of the counties that bring the highest level of revenue within the county because of the business activities that are happening in Mwea. So I think Mwea needs somebody who will be able to manage the economic part of Mwea. Tondo Mwea usiwe na ambiana mabiashara maingi no kukuwe na the highest level of poverty kana ndo areme na the lowest living standards within Kirinyaga County marone kwa Mwea. Koguo no nyende kuona Mwea mabeto mutongoria kubota ku balance niyo bako when it comes to somebody that has been given an opportunity to lead before wanting to come back. I never am like I never want to support that. Tondo na mugeta tagamuge ati ari for ya UDA kono mundu usu ari na the right track record. Now, it's not about being agreeable or about being able to live with people that nobody, as Joshua is saying, nobody has anything negative to say about that person. Taruta Ndindi Nyoroi. Ona Ndindi Nyoro wange akakwina rwimbo rwa wantamwe. Ona rugame independent ye. Nyundo a track record ire kwe. Ona guke candidate yonge kurugama na DCP. Chances are, ando no megucokia Ndindi Nyoro because of.
I think true. You have said chances. We had people who did very well as the MPs. Example are akina Honorable Kabingo Wadhayo, akina huyu Wanyeri, akina Wambogo, Wakili. We had akina
very well in terms of maendeleo.
Yes. People of Mwea loved Kabingo Wadhayo.
Kumwenda tamundu kana wirore ararutira andu. You know, we're not talking about emotions. We're talking about track record.
Hakuna mtu upenda mwanasiasa
and mandate on delivery.
Yes. Usually, when we talk of performance, it's usually on a comparative basis. And so it's a comparative basis. What we are saying is that, like very many people in Kirinyaga considered Wambogo to be one of the best performing MPs. And it's true because from a national ranking of MP's performances in the last 5 years in the run-up to the 2022 elections, he was always rated among the top 70 best performing MPs. He actually used to be the top best performing MP in Kirinyaga. But you see what happens in elections is that in as much as there's a litany of factors that determine election outcomes, there are those that have greater weight. And one factor that takes a very huge toll on the electorate is actually the emotions. When we get to elections, many a times people forget what you've done, and I agree with what Mary Jo was intimating, that I wouldn't be surprised if Ndindi Nyoro happens to vie as an independent akipelekwa nyumbani.
Apelekwe nyumbani.
Yes, it's possible.
That is true. Mary Jo, Mwea unaangalia nani? Who are you watching?
Martin, ihenya ria Mwea rigukorwo ri between kuria mbere ti gukoroka na ihenya ria muthuri ni kwengea.
Okay.
We have two sets of if I classify wale ambao wako, we got two men pande moja and one lady and a man the other side. Juzi during the barrio ya Karaba, ndaigwire Martha Tangatha Alfred Derito as an aspirant for the seat, and I believe it is through PLP. Then we have Kabingo Wadhayo, who is in DCP, and then on the other side we have Wangeshi Waroe and Dr. Ken. These youngsters wako na haraka mbio hivi, they are doing things chap, like they are able to catch up with the formers that they are now ranking like they are on the same line. It's a good thing. All of them are good things. But we need to ask ourselves, do they have the finishing power? Can they sustain the energy? Because they are the most important thing. But we can na gumo 2026. By April, you are ranking high. Will not give you the seat. You need to maintain the energy to the end. At the same time, athuria no makorwo matirateng'era, but they have managed to maintain the status, especially Kabinga Wadhayo has been able to maintain his status even when hayuko ground. I was in Moridoko and I was in Kangai on Saturday, and the energy I saw with the people around, wacha ile ya mic, unajua ya mic inaweza kuwa ni mobilized, but when you're moving around you could hear things. Kabinga has not lost it, so he has also managed to maintain the line, hajapitwa na hawa wenye wanakimbia. So what I am looking forward to is who is able to sustain the energy, who is able to keep moving among them. But I can tell you it will be between Honorable Kabinga Wadhayo, Wangeshi Waroe and Dr. Ken. I am not going to mention Mary Mainge because if I were her, I would not defend my seat. To be so sincere, I would not. I would exit honorably and I say I was once this and I never lost. Every time, anytime I vied, anytime means that's that one time. Na niondoke, but the rest will be between the three and either of them is capable of becoming.
Yeah, ndio kabla tujamalizia, Merejo, you cannot use the word honorably with UDA in the same sentence.
Oh, unajua nimeitumia na UDA, nimeitumia na Mary Mainge. Mimi ningekuwa nikisimama nasema anytime I vied, I didn't lose. Anytime might mean one time, which I didn't lose. Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't list myself kwa hiyo nini losing line.
I think, Martin, what will happen now that as the DCP chairperson, I can only take a very neutral ground. So I would want to look at the all the aspirants objectively based on their strengths. And you start with Kabinga. I think he has a background in he's worked with the international body, I think, before, so he joined politics. Yeah. That gives him a lot of experience in terms of management and lobbying, because when you work with international organizations, many a times you are doing a lot of lobbying. So that gives him an edge. Number two, which I don't know whether to classify as a strength or as a weakness, is his age. You see, with age comes experience. But again, looking at the dynamics of Kenyan politics and considering that majority of our voters are also young people, maybe I will have a difficult time to know whether he will resonate, his age, his style, and his ideologies will resonate with the young people. So I don't know. And it's up to him to know how to use the age factor, whether to his advantage or allow it to sink him. So that's Kabinga for you. And like I said, there wasn't too much negativity around him when he served as an MP. Yes, what Wakio is saying about performance is true. Sometimes when we say that you're the best, you did well, we are comparing you with other people who probably did nothing. I mean, if you look at Kabinga in Kirinyaga, for example, and compare him with the Geshimu, I mean, Kabinga is a shining star, yes. Still, if you compare Kabinga with the GK, and especially in the first term, GK basically did nothing in Dia. So his record, and I don't think it's still etched in the minds of the voters that Kabinga is a failure. The people of Mwea still believe that Kabinga did well and that he only lost because of the party, but that's up to them to decide. So coming to Wangeshi Waroe, Wangeshi, listening to her, you can tell she's a very sharp mind. I mean, let's give credit where it's due. She's a sharp mind, and a woman of her age to have achieved what she has achieved, because those who know her and looking at her profile, she seems to have gone places, and you can only attribute that to her energy and ability to maneuver. So she must be a very she's someone who is able to go out there and bring resources to the people of Mwea.
So you're saying that it's not that alianza haraka, alianza na mbio afu mahali fike, as Mary Jo is putting it, aishe finishing power.
No, she just
No. Let's make it very clear.
It was an if, maybe.
I said, do they have the energy to sustain all of them?
True.
So kindly,
true.
Martin,
to answer your question, these are CPA graduate, okay? And these are people who know how to play around with figures and money, isn't it? I'm sure she might have thought that through, and I can bet my head on a meat grinder that I think she's likely to push to the very end. And again, I don't think very few politicians, especially those who aspire to be MPs, very few of them would embark on such a journey without having the necessary financial muscle to sail to the very end. So Wangeshi Waroe is she needs to be watched. Coming to Ken, and like I said, I will only comment on the DCP candidates. Dr. Ken, there isn't so much out there about him. I think most of what we know is what we hear on political rallies and what is written about him on social media. But if indeed he's a doctor, and I'm talking about a medical doctor, not a doctor like the PhD holders like Ruto, I would like to see how he's able to blend his experience as a medic with the expectations and the needs of the Mwea constituency. I've been seeing some manifestos flying around social media, and sometimes you really question whether, and this is just not unique to Mwea. I've seen it across the country, whereby you see someone who is a doctor, and I'm not talking about Ken, it's a general comment. You see someone who is a doctor or a medic contesting for a seat, and then you see the same team, the same doctor telling you how he's going to improve health in their constituencies. Sometimes you really wonder whether people know the mandates of MPs. I don't think there's a very huge gap between the mandate of an MP and an MP improving the health of a constituency. So if Ken is able to improve on such, which I think he's doing very well, again being a very young guy who is picked up very fast, I think he stands a chance. So the three DCP candidates, I wouldn't rule any of them out, and we can only wait and see which of them will clinch the DCP ticket, because this I can say, and I will say, whoever clinches the DCP ticket will most likely be the next MP for Mwea constituency. Yep.
So, Wakili, what do you think is the contribution of social media in the MP seat, especially in Mwea? I am talking about Mwea because it's very hot. That is where all the bloggers we know wanakuaga.
Of course, when it comes to social media, it controls the narrative. For a start, na inafanya mtu mwenye si farasi akae farasi, especially wana mundu muno social media kanja kone perception. It controls the perception, and also you're able to control your narrative. You're able to curate an image for yourself. Uge utani njuge wakeo ndienda kumenyekana for this and this and this, something that might not be possible on the ground. Tondo ko ni ta ground ye wathima thiko kana wathima saka nduko thima thiko anjeria ko ni andu, as much as yes we share a bit of our manifesto in these platforms, but in a very limited way. No kuoneka we mundu te very reasonable when you're going to tell them how you're going to make roads for them, or your contribution to the health sector, or your contribution to the agricultural sector within those limited. No social media what decide you ndako ni andu yoko naambia ni gutinda we anikite ku ukiona nagia gutinda we anikite ku ukiona nagia uri ko na mbesa ni ungienda kuonia andu tarutha ici Dr. Kennedy, by the you guys said you don't know what he does, but my first interaction with that name yari ni undu wa kuthondeka community health clinics ya community.
Medical camp.
Medical camp. Yes.
Where? In where?
Medical, yes.
Lini?
Nilikuwa lini. I think sometimes last year.
Okay.
Yes, when he was introducing himself, he was doing a lot of medical camps. Na bone bothe na andu baitu kagira tondu andu maitu ni magitu gukorwo makitaukwo na ku understand wira wa MP ni uriku tondu na rio ko kauga ati MP fulani undu ria areka ni ati ni arabota gukorwo a good performing MP. We look at the four roles of an MP: representation, legislation, oversight. Ino ya kana ndimetaga development ire yukaga ni undu wa lobbying na NGCDF. Riu gakoga kora atiriri MP uria ni yubakwa ndengiuga ni MP uria ara perform wega ni MP uria angipota gukorwo akideliver on those four mandates. Ta guko gwitu Gisugu tubuthire Gisugu ta example. Gisugu te representation gutiona bindi one mukigwa ati Gicimo witu ni athire kuria kwaririria kuonia ni ara represent andu ma Gisugu. Legislation ni kurarutirwe record isu cia Hansard record isu cia bunge. You did not hear him even once.
It was actually on record that ameongea tu akisema yes.
Sikia sasa. Unasikia? Kwa kweli oko ni representation ya andu ma Gisugu matena representation. Oko ni NGCDF tari kura ina controversy ya gutwika ati milioni 86 ni ciyetwe cia basari. No gwetaterano yaratetarira ruga atia ati ni murabenania tondu ni ona ndabero milioni 63. You know? Come on, we have to do better accountability. Riko gwe ona tukiuga MP fulani ni performire wega undu ungi guka kurimira andu mabarabara tikuonania ati wona mwambe gite kia MP ningoka kumuribira mabarabara, because you also need to understand the process that any member of parliament takes before uallocate your resources za kuleta barabara kwako. Kitu ya kwanza, it's lobbying.
So you're saying nikilima barabara sasa nikiitisha kura ni campaign?
Hiyo ni campaign and it's not a guarantee. The only guarantee that we have, we need to see tondondo ambere lobbying starts at the committee stage. Committee stage ino committee ino iratwika ihendagwo ni GKO wito andia iyo infrastructure. You need to be able, budget ni yarekererwa ni kuona gwa mbeca iria ciaroketwo ni undu wa infrastructure ni ici. Oya gukorwo kithiba ugutengera kuga musibi wa Gisugu mbewe milioni ciganona kana mbewe kina na bado tuwe ugoka kumarimira tuwe we MP na maragita maku na tinga ciaku. There is the body that is constitutionally mandated, the kera and the kura. So I think the electorate undu wa mbere nigetha tubote guthura andu aria me suited for these offices, they need to understand na magiro ni gukorwo makiere withiwa tondu ndindi nyoro ndindi nyoro arauga atiriri development icio monaga agika mwea tikati acibuthagira na mbeca iria betwo cia NGCDF zingine amelobi with international organization ta World Bank. Tari Waiguru wanyu muranjiraga juzi ati thibitari cabros, it wasn't even money that was allocated to Kirinyaga County. Some of these things our people need to know. Nigetha ukorwo kimenya ni characteristic iriku MP waku akorwo agiro no ukorwo nacio. Otherwise no mubenererwe na kurimirwo barabara mukathondekirwo medical camp na tikandra attack Kennedy kana whatever it is that these people are doing nigetha to lure you to elect them, but when this person sits in the office back to mwea mundu tamiri maingi mwaugire ati twe mwathurire augire twe mutiana muthura nikiama mwathurire. There's a lot of civic education that needs to be done in Kirinyaga County.
Mirijo, do you agree that people don't know actually why they vote? They only vote because it's euphoria or whatever reason they do. Well, weigh in as we finish.
Wakinya ni kumenya kana mundu ria murathura na character ciake wale watu tunafaa kutandika community leaders, because however much we would want to say about civic education to the voter and all that, there are those people who shapes the narrative, the church, the social media, whatever we call the bloggers, there's the balaza hizi za wazee and all of that. Those are the people we are supposed to be whipping, because they're the people who get paid and then they go selling the wrong narrative. So kwangu nikiulizwa mwananchi, it will never come a time, not in the next 5 decades in this country, that mwananchi will go to the ballot akijua anafanya nini. Maybe the generation yenye sahi inakuja kuchukua kura, maybe those ones will try, but I can tell you for free, unaona wale watu walichaguana 2022 kabla uwafunze by 2042 ama by 20 whatever watachaguana for a reason. it will take them ages. They listen to what the pastor said, what yo mzee wa nyumba kumi said, what mtoto wake alisema, what kuna wale watu. For example, if I take Kirinyaga, I being one of them, kuna watu usikiza what I say and they believe what I say is gospel truth. Hapo mahali I am a village hero, kuna watu wananiaminia. If I give them the wrong narrative, they take it as gospel truth. I think wale watu tuna shape narrative, we need to do better because we are the same people who are supposed to be blamed. Ukiona mtu ambaye anauza narrative ya ati MP atatengeneza health, ata improve health, huyo tunafaa kuita tunatadika viboko. And I think it is time in this forum we start calling those people out. One day tutuketi hapa, kazi yetu ni kuchambua bloggers, kazi yetu ni kuchambua au pastors, kazi yetu ikuwe ni kuchambua hao watu wote. Tunasema kuja hapa, wewe uliandika hivi, kama wewe unasikizanga Dennis Itumbi, uwe jamaa kona uongo, tunavuta mwingine. Kama wewe unasikiza Midhamo Mushiri, aliandika hivi na ni uongo. It is the high time we start doing those things because I think we are going to get personal because their character ndio inafanya to vote the wrong way.
Na huku kwetu
na niko karibu kukasirika.
To add on to what Mary Jo has said, I think na hii nitasema tu kwa sababu Mount Kenya nadhani tuko na kashida. Unajua umesema tuambiane ukweli.
Kasirika pia.
Mount Kenya tuko na kashida. You see, the people who influence opinion are people who have huge followings, especially. Yes. Ukiangalia Mount Kenya, the people that we follow, number one, they are shady comedians. Shady, yes. Sitataja majina, but they are shady comedians who cannot even entertain you in anything. They are funny gospel singers. Those are the people who influence opinion. Na ndio sababu unaona kila wakati serikali inataka kujishindia most of the Mount Kenya following, they normally call them, wanawalipa ndio walete watu wakisikia sijui wa Muraya nieka angangania niweka, watu wanafuata. And these people are as ignorant as Wanjiku kule Marurumo. If you talk to them, ukikaa chini nao ujaribu kuchambua masuala kuhusu siasa, utapata kwamba wengi wao hawaelewi chochote kuhusu siasa, na hao ndio watu ambao wanapatiana mwelekeo. So I think hapo what my sister has said is something that we need to correct. And someone has asked me, why are you not talking about Mary Maingi in Mwea? Yes, of course we cannot talk about Mary Maingi. One, Mary Maingi has failed the people of Mwea completely. She's a failure par excellence. Mary Maingi is a failure par excellence. She has listed the roles of an MP. Number one is representation. Representation is when you identify a challenge that is affecting your people and you take it to parliament. Unajua kwamba barabara za Mwea za mchele hazipitiki. Kwa hivyo unafaa kwenda bunge kutetea ndio zile barabara zipatikane. Now what even makes me mad about Mary Maingi, now that I'm a voter in Mwea, is the fact that the chairman of the infrastructure committee in parliament is actually one of our local members of parliament, ni GK. You don't even need to go to the committee. You all need to call GK, mko tuta kwanza, by the way. You all need to call GK, mkae chini umunulie chai ama umunulie ile uji ya Uhuru, umwambie bwana hizi barabara zangu hazipitiki. She doesn't do that. She has failed on presentation. Number two, oversight. Of course, Mary Maingi, instead of oversighting, she's actually doing the opposite. You know, she's one of the choir members of the Kasongo Hosanna Brigade. Yeye wakati Ruto pesa inaibiwa ndiye anawauliza nyinyi hiyo pesa imeibiwa mmeiona wapi? I saw her last week coming out with the other members of the health committee wakisema kwamba SHA is not working. Yet Mary Maingi is the one person who has been telling all and sundry that SHA is working, na nyinyi ndio kwamba nyinyi kama raia ndio hamuoni kwamba inafanya kazi. Oversight, she has failed. Kasongo's government is really doing everything the wrong way. The economy is not doing well. Leo nimepata kwamba mafuta hatuna. I've had to visit about 4 petrol stations ndio nipate mafuta. We've spent time asking the government if they have any plans with regards to ensuring that we have fuel security as a country because of the Iran-US war. Sasa hakuna mafuta. Ruto has said nothing about it. Juzi tumeona 30 bodies that were buried in a mass grave in Kericho. We expected MPs to raise issues and confront the executive and demand for questions. She is not doing anything. She will not do it. Oversight, kaput. The other one is which one? Legislation. I even doubt whether Mirimangi knows what legislation means. She does it. Hiyo nao hajui. I doubt whether she knows what stages or what process it takes for a bill to become law. Yeah, hajui. Performance intasema. We know that Mary Maingi na ofisi ya CDF, because she's the one in charge of the CDF, hata kama they are not supposed to take any active role other than being patrons of the NGCDF. What has been happening in Mwea is that Mary Maingi wanaenda mashule wakati wanafungua shule or when they are handing over classrooms, wanadanganya kwamba they have also handed over issued desks to the schools, na hakuna desks. Hizo shule walimu wakienda kwa ofisi kujaribu kuomba desk, wanaambiwa hapana, nyinyi hatuwezi wapatia desk kwa sababu inaonekana hapa when you are being given the 2 classrooms you also received 100 desks. That is what has been happening, and that theft has been happening with Maingi being the presiding officer. 2, tuliona juzi kwa TV kwamba 2.8 million cannot be accounted for. Inasemekana kwamba hizo checks zilitoka lakini hazikufika kwa mashule. Having done all this as the sitting MP, I've tried to be very fair kuangalia ni wapi Maingi amefanya kazi mzuri. The only part where Maingi has performed really well is representing William Ruto in Kirinyaga and ensuring that what the people tell her to do is not being done. Aliambiwa na watu wa Mwea kwamba hii finance bill hawaitaki, akawaambia kwamba yeye alichaguliwa na chama na ni kwa sababu ya chama na Ruto, akaenda akaipitisha, akaenda Mwea akazunguka watu wakamwambia hii mambo ya impeachment hatuitaki, yeye akaenda pale. She is the one who shouted the most. I remember hiyo siku nikiangalia the impeachment, alishout mpaka, unajua anakuwa na meno mzuri sana. Niliangalia meno yake huko ina shine ni kama dhahabu. So Maingi mambo yake hatuongei Mwea, and I think it's only fair that the people of Mwea show their dissatisfaction by voting her out.
Well, I think this is a discussion that can go on and on, but in my opinion, we need to visit Mwea as Tubonge Kirinyaga. We have a conversation with the people of Mwea, where we'll have audience. Amaji Merijo.
I agree. I think when it comes to constituency level, I think we need to leave this bench and we get a real audience. Like, let's hear what Wajiko thinks. I really would want to hear somebody defending Mary Maingi as I watch. Maybe I wouldn't mind. Okay, I really would mind, but I would tolerate. So I think it's a high time when it comes to constituency level, now that it has been introduced, let's get out there. Let's go see. Yes, let's see what Friday. Friday Mwea. I think you can organize. Yes. We get an audience. Let's hear what they will say. Let the seat get hot. It is the high time we hear them. And I think, it will be a good verdict for them.
I think that is all the time we have. And to Malize, I will give each just 1 minute. Useme your closing remark. Na maybe walike watu Friday. Tunaenda Mwea. We start with you, Akeo.
I think what I would like to tell the people of Kirinyaga ni ati tubonge Kirinyaga ugu tugaga ni mugambo wa mu Kirinyaga. Vision area tungikorwa twinayo kana uria tukorwa tukiriria ni gukorwa twi a reliable source of information. Ukienda ku verify kana kwenda kumenya undu ninjwe maitare maingi tukorwa tukiaria voro opinion situ, no muno kiria twina kyo thini wa ngoro situ ni kwenda kubingura this conversation, twambiririe kwiuria the right questions, twambiririe gukona the right discussions, tondu kwaria obu gacagacani ya kwaria novo solution iguka kumenyekana. No ndu tuwe ni ati nyuwe weu ta muikari wa Kirinyaga weu ni weu wi mathina na makugomere weu ni wi mathina ra mwinamo na muno makiria weu ni weu wi solution ira tungikuretera nigetha mundu ya makore makithi wega mugambo wa Kirinyaga twauga Friday tutungane Mwea ni tukamwira ni Mwea ku turorane twaranirie nigetha tuthondeke Kirinyaga witu.
Joshua,
mi yangu ni kwa Wakenya wote and especially the Gen Zs. Najua tuko kadi, kila mtu anasema tuko kadi, lakini kuna watu wengine wanasema kwamba tuko kadi na hana kura. Msifikirie kwamba tutaenda Kasongo ataenda kutolewa pale na mdomo. The only way to elect good leadership and to remove bad leadership from office is through the ballot. Najua there are other means like what people tried in 2024, but the best way and the surest method of removing bad leadership and dictators is through voting. Kwa hivyo kama wewe ni Gen Z, enda jiandikishe kama mpiga kura, and please na kuomba tuache hizi story ya watu kufikiria kwamba you are too cool kwenda kwa IBC office ama wherever the registration is happening, ati huwezi enda hapo bana. Wakati mwingine we make efforts kwenda mbali sana, we spend a lot of energy and resources. Hiyo so moja yenye utatumia kwenda kujiandikisha kama mpiga kura, it means a lot. That is all that is needed. Kwa hivyo vijana, tafuta mabeshte wako, tafuta demu wako, tafuta boy wako, kwanza muulize kama ako na kura, kama hana kura, mshike, umpeleke, umlazimishe aende achukue kura. Kwa sababu niko kadi ni kujiandikisha. Tukishajiandikisha hiyo mambo mengine tutaenda huko mbele. Otherwise, thanks a lot. Kirinyaga tubonge, and ukipata hizi video sambaza kwa mabeshti wako na kwa wazazi. Kwanza wazazi wetu ndio wanahitaji hizi video sana, kwa sababu hapo ndio shida iko, hao ndio wanatuangusha. Thank you very much.
Okay, Merijo, your last remark.
Well, it's always good to be here to Boge Kirinyaga. Thanks so much, Martin, for this kind of an idea. I'm also very happy that I was considered worth of being on this bench. To the people that you usually speak to, I am always happy about your feedback. Everybody who calls me, kwani hamjaeka kwa YouTube? Sipati the other clip. I am always very thrilled about it. I am also very humbled that we are able to share what we know. We can only do much, and we are always open to listening to you all. Just call, tell me what you think about what we say. And naona ni kama Mwea imekuwa decided. Bench nayo mko na haraka. But yeah, let's meet in Mwea. I think it will be a good conversation. Until then, see you kwa nini? Next week kwa social medias, YouTube Tuboge Kirinyaga, Facebook Tuboge Kirinyaga, kwa page yangu pia tutapatana huko. Until then, see you all. Thanks so much, Martin.
Karibu sana. As you've heard, Tubonge Kirinyaga will be in Mwea on Friday. Next edition itakuwa Mwea. Logistics tutajua ni aje. Next conversation tutajua vile tutafanya. Joshua is insisting that ndia kwa sababu ni kwao. It's also the next one. Sunday, I've been reminded that tutakuwa Karaine. Hiyo itakuwa bunge la wananchi. You're welcome jioni, and we have a series of events coming. Keep watching, keep giving us your feedback. Of course, this beautiful place is called Saju Gardens in Kutus, the old bridge. Watu wa kitambo wanajua, watu wa sahi. Campus iko tu hapa karibu. You can visit anytime. You can visit their Facebook page, Saju Gardens in Kutus. Until next time, see you all, keep safe na ukue kadi. Thank you.